One thing's for certain, there will always be trash, and we'll always need someone to manage it. Waste management has been on a steady climb, and in a volatile market, is one man's trash a stock market treasure?
For all the angst about how plummeting long-term interest rates and the inverted yield curve mean we're headed for a recession, at the end of the day, you're still talking about a top-down perspective. Looking at that macro data, jumping to conclusions, not doing the homework. You know me, I prefer a bottoms-up approach. Listening to individual great companies that might know something and then compiling a kind of mosaic to get a sense of how we're really doing. And few companies can give you a better read on the economy than the best of the best in its industry, Waste Management. It's the largest waste disposal company in North America. You know what creates lots of garbage? Commerce, construction. Guess what? Waste Management stock is up more than 30% for the year. The company just reported a strong quarter a few weeks ago, which is not something you'd expect if we're battling toward a recession. But do not take it from me. Let's check in with Jim Fish. He's the president and CEO of Waste Management. Hear how his company's doing, and also take the pulse of the broader economy. Mr. Fish, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thanks, Jim.
How are you, Jim? Have a seat. Good to see you. Okay, I read this. I've followed your company from, I don't know, for 35 years. 7% organic revenue growth in collection and disposal business. Yep. That is extraordinary. How are you doing it?
Well, I mean, look, you said it. You just said it. I mean, the economy. You know, there's all kinds of discussion today, yesterday, of course, and our business still seems to be humming along, and it's a good indicator of the economy overall because we service every single segment of the economy. Yeah, I mean, revenue growth has been a real surprising, positive for us.
Right, the top line is terrific. Now, there was a discussion on your call about whether you're a lagging indicator, so therefore, if you do 7, then maybe what's coming next is bad. But then I thought you refuted that by saying, listen, we're not leading or lagging, we're just in business.
Well, there are pieces of our business that are leading indicators.
Yes, that's important.
We are at the end of the cycle, but there are pieces that are leading indicators. Our commercial business, which is a good proxy for small business, has been very strong. Obviously, our construction and demolition, everywhere you go, you see cranes everywhere, and that is reflected in our, I think it was 13% increase year over year in commercial, or in C&D. And then our special waste business, the event component of that is, companies tend to hold off when they see a recession coming, and they did not hold off.
They did not. Okay, that's important. There's also there was one part of your conference call that I had never thought of, but because of, I think it's climate change, but because whatever, there are more disasters than I've seen, and sadly, but that's actually important business for you.
Well, it is. It's hard to predict, obviously, but, we were up partially because of the fires, which were tragic. I was up in Paradise and looked at it. It was absolutely terrible. But we helped clean that up. Right. But last year it was the hurricanes in Houston, Harvey, and in Florida. So every year there seems to be something. You're right. It seems like there's more of these than there used to be. Right. And we have so many locations around North America that we tend to be able to help wherever we are.
Right. Now, a lot of people just picture you as landfills and trucks. But you are using technology in a remarkable way, both to help employees and to help the bottom line. Yeah, I think it's exciting stuff.
Well, so we're spending $100 million this year on technology, upgrading our customer-facing technology. It's not a secret that everybody wants to use a mobile device to contact their companies that they do business with, and so we're really upgrading that. Our data and analytics. I spent some time yesterday with some of our folks looking at data and analytics on how we evaluate our routes, how they're routed dynamically, how we can check and see how our drivers are doing. So we're really upgrading our technology across the board.
Are there enough people? Are there enough people to do that kind of data work?
It's a competitive market, I would tell you. It's a competitive market for sure, but we're able to hire who we want to hire, and that's a good sign.
That is a good sign. Okay, now there are some terrific things that you're putting out about how you're uniquely positioned, macro factors, social trends, behavioral shift. I know that we don't think of millennials and trash, but that's wrong. You're ahead of the curve on this. Some of these things you're doing are remarkable.
Well, that's correct. Look, we hear all the time that millennials aren't crazy about driving trucks. They're not crazy about operating heavy equipment. We have 2,500 heavy equipment operators. So we're working with Caterpillar. We're doing a pilot up in Denver, Colorado, where we remotely operate heavy equipment. It's about 1.5 miles away, but it has the potential to redefine the job so that instead of having somebody operating on the face of the landfill, they're sitting in front of a bank of TVs and operating it remotely.
But you wouldn't need that if it weren't for the fact that labor is in short supply versus the negativists who are saying that we're right around the corner from recession.
You know, I hear that obviously the unemployment rate is at a 50-year low,
Yeah.
but we're able to hire who we want to hire.
Okay.
I can't speak to those companies that can't, but we're able to get our drivers, our heavy equipment operators, our customer service reps. We're able to hire who we want to hire.
All right, and I always like to ask you, because I think our country's not good at it, are we getting any better at recycling? Are there any places that are cities that aren't rich enough to even recycle? Where are we right now?
You know, we're taking a real proactive approach to recycling, because I would tell you that recycled commodity prices are at 25-year lows.
No.
But what we're doing is changing the model, and we're putting a new plant in Chicago. It takes out those things that we want, as opposed to today where it waits, a conveyor belt goes by and you're pulling off the things that you don't want.
But they're like dumping baby carriages and diapers in there.
There's a bunch of junk in there,
yeah,
for sure. So to answer your question, I'm not sure we're getting a lot better at it as producers of recyclables or trash, but Waste Management is going to change the way we sort that material, and I think it really improves the quality of it.
And does that help in a situation where China used to be a big buyer and now I guess they've just disappeared and not coming back?
No, potentially though, you're right. I mean, you know, we used to sell 30% of our stuff to them.
Yeah.
Now we sell 2%. But it's because it has nothing to do with the trade wars, by the way. It has everything to do with the quality of the material.
Right,
if we improve the quality of the material, maybe they're a big customer again.
I never thought that you could make these kinds of numbers knowing that the recycled from China would drop off like that. That's a great credit to you.
It does speak to the health of the rest of the business,
That's
which,
true.
by the way, is 90% of it.
But
right?
it's also, I mean, you made that acquisition, you're doing everything right.
Yeah.
And that's why you're up 30% for the year, and you deserve to be. That's Jim Fisk, President and CEO of Waste Management WM. Again, we're featuring companies tonight that are what you want, domestic growth companies with great organic growth. That's what you need, and also, of course, really savvy management that's able to do and execute in a tough environment. Mad Money's back in. Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the Jump on My exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.